Hi, thanks for coming. It's MJ, Breathe, Move, Shine. And I'm putting this little practice together for you. It's going to be about a 15-minute quickie practice, especially useful to those of us who feel like we never have time to practice, to take a couple of minutes to get into ourselves, to get a little bit strong and wide and ready for the day. So I don't have a huge plan around this, and it'll be fun to have this experience with you. So what we'll do is we'll first sit, and I'm a big fan of making sure you have something under you to sit on, in that because that enables your spine to stay nice and tall. And so once you've found some way to sit, if it's a blanket, a block, whatever is handy, you'll have a notice of how the sits bones are connecting to that seat. You might like to let those eyes drift a little bit closed so that you can make a clearer assessment of what's going on in your body. And once we have a seat, we're always a little bit confused about what to do with our legs. Some of us aren't. Some of us have a little bit of a different way we like to go. Certainly you could cross legs. Certainly you could decide for sending those feet behind you in kind of a zigzag shape. Wherever you decide to assign those legs, just make sure that it provides a relative comfort and non-distraction from the rest of you being tall. And so you settle into your seat and you simply start noticing. In yoga, we're in the business of observation of really all things. The observation here of what's going on in the body, and observation of what might be created in the mind space, and maybe even the conditions around you. You're seeing me here in summer Oregon. It's quite luscious. You may hear the water element off to the side. And so real quickly, it is really nice to make sure that you set yourself up in a place where you can feel undisturbed. So returning to the seat, returning to the way the sits bones are connecting to your seat, I'd like you to first slouch a little bit and just go ahead and let your spine be soft. Feels kind of nice. And then what I'd like you to do is travel your awareness between the sits bones where they're sitting and press the pelvic floor up. And see if you might notice an engagement that starts right around here below the navel center that actually coaxes gently for the spine to engage the muscles all around the spine. There's layers and layers of it to support a nice tall spine. And maybe you feel this kind of an uplifted sense from the pelvic floor up, right? And then from the pelvic floor down, there's a beautiful grounded, anchoring kind of quality. So we're just gonna sit here for one more minute on your own, in your own observation, with breath deeply in and out of the nose in equal measure. Taking any opportunity that you wish to gently guide the interference of the mind space off with the next out breath. And then the next in breath, reconnecting with the awareness of the body, the breath, the seat, the lift. 3 more breaths, nice and big, in and out of the nose for yoga. The diaphragm drops to allow the breath in, diaphragm presses up to express the air out. And then here we'll let the eyelids lift and allow for the light to enter your eye space. And then we'll wait for the next breath to show up, to liven the fingers and the arms, and an in-breath, the hands and arms come overhead. Perhaps touch palms together and use an exhalation to drop the hands right to the heart. So one more of those, up we come with the arms, but this time what would be great is if you could send your gaze over to the right and spin the spine to the right. The heart will face to the right, and you'll use your hands to help to assist a nice tall spine. And then you'll wait for that next in-breath to come back to center, to go ahead and take a visit, this time to the left side. And we'll just do that one more time on each side. I'm hopeful by now that you've noticed a little more settled quality into the experience that we're going to share here now. Very nice. And then come on back up to center. Why don't you go ahead and breathe those arms overhead, soften your face, slide the blades down, clip them firmly behind you. And one more time, and exhalation, we'll return those hands down. We're going to let the hands arrive on the thighs and just start a seated cat-cow. Quite possibly might be the only time we get to cat-cow today. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what that looks like. I'm really just undulating the spine on the breath. And I'm letting my gaze come as high and low as it possibly can to make sure that even the neck gets to take a ride on the wave of the spine this morning. Nice. I'm going to come back to my seat. And then I'm going to come off the seat and move the stuff out from under me that was there. And then I'm going to end up, I'd love you to arrange your mats long ways in front of me, if I didn't mention that already, so that both of our mats are long. We'll start with a forward fold, center on your mat. Check in with the feet, widen the toes. See that there's about a fist between the heels meeting the mat, and then just allow for your head to drop. So we'll press the feet to the earth to very slowly and mindfully, carefully come all the way tall. And automatically the arms just seem to want to come overhead. Connect yourself to some kind of intention overhead between your hands, and just go ahead and exhale, drop it right back to your heart. So welcome to yoga. Let's go ahead and move for about 10 more minutes together today. So we're going to try something a little unusual, which will be fun. We're going to step our feet wide and start with a wide 5-pointed star shape. So what I'd love you to do is first have an awareness of your feet, really deeply connecting to the earth, and a kind of a sensation of energy growing up those legs, and even an engagement of the inner leg lines to almost try to press the feet together. Nice isometric there. That energy is going to travel up the spine and hopefully ensure that the spine is tall, the head is stacked over the spine, and the arms branch out. Please go ahead and send your gaze left to right. How's the breath? How are you feeling so far? Nice. Okay. So I am trying to slide my feet toward each other, very much engaging the legs, the press of the feet, the length of the spine, the length of the breath, and even extending fingers wide. Beautiful. Then what I'm going to do is place my hands on my hips, send those heels in a little bit of a tip of an angle of the feet, toes pointing to the front corners of your mat, and I'm going to start to bend the knees. So we'll start to warm the legs up. And as I'm doing so, I'm going to sneak a peek over to the sides of my legs to make sure that as I bend the knees, they're fairly stacking over the ankles. Beautiful. How's your breath? Starting to warm the thighs, and we'll start a little teeny bit of a flow. But we're going to orient from the center. So we'll be moving side to side. Just a little heads up. Let's come on into our goddess pose. And then release the arms wide into that star shape again. So as the legs are very active all the way, muscles hugging the bones of the legs, spine as well, We're gonna exhale and send the left arm over and give yourself a big old hug. You could stay here, or you could decide for Garuda arms, eagle arms. There's a very strong press between the elbows. Slide the blades down and a little bit together in the backyard there. So while I'm so busy with the arms and my breath, my legs are forgetting how strong they're becoming. I'll use the next in-breath to release that wide. Maybe the gaze comes up. And this time the left arm will come over. Going to give myself a hug. And then I'll find my eagle arms. It's just a bit of a pretzel twist. If you can't find this, or if you can't find any of these shapes, please do ensure that you're taking care of yourself and bring yourself to the best place that you can. And we breathe. And maybe we come a little lower in the elevator. And maybe we a little bit shift side to side. And maybe we soften and widen the toes and we breathe. And then I'm sliding the blades down to release the arms open. My hands are going to land with the thumbs in and the pinkies on the tops of the thighs. I'm going to wait for an exhale to send the left shoulder over to the right knee. And then back to center. All of the movements are first guided by the breath. Nice, and then back up to center. One more time on each side. I love you to have an experience of lusciousness here if it's at all possible. So we're rinsing the spine. Cool, I'm gonna come back to center. Straighten the legs and reach those arms nice and tall. And then I'm gonna bend the legs again and level the arms. Gonna send my left arm over to meet with the right and come into crescent warrior. Beautiful. And breathe. Keeping it simple, yeah guys? Here come the arms back down. Here I go wide in that shape again. And this time the right arm comes over to meet with the left, finding my crescent warrior. You can adjust the feet as you need to find stability. Then I'm going to come back to center. Cool. This time as we come around, we're going to come all the way to the knee and back up. Settle, framing feet and hands. And I'm sending the left arm up for a nice little spinal twist. Then I'm going to use the exhale, guides the breath. Come back to center. How you guys doing? We'll check out the other side, right? Right arm comes over. We find the crescent. You come down to the knees. The hands frame the foot. And this time the left arm comes up. Nice, exhale. So I think it would be great for us to do that again. And I'm gonna see if you can do it on your own. Cool. So you can just watch me. Nice. Beautiful. Going to meet you back home in the center. And we're going to heel toe those feet together. Very nice. Have a nice breath overhead. Use an exhalation to return back to the heart space. Tiny bit of a stability pose here. Pressing the left foot to the earth. Kind of interesting on the dirt here. I'm going to use a half sit-up to raise the right leg. You could stay here. You could find a very quick tree. And then we'll use the exhale to come on out of that. Luckily, we have two legs. Pressing right, lifting left. A little bit of tree action, matching the tights. And then exhale, coming out. We're going to heel toe again. Little quick frog pose. Getting me all the way to the floor somehow. There we go. Turning sideways. Doesn't matter which, just so you can see me. And I guess you know what? We are going to find that seated cat-cow this time. I'm on a hill this way. So just quickly, the benefit of working on sand or the earth is that you really need to adaptation. The body needs to make adaptations. I think it's really an awesome way to practice, actually. And then the next time I exhale, I'm going to be coming all the way down. If you have any items you'd like to have nearby to support a very quick rest, this would be the time to find it. Me, I'm going to put a little block under the knees. This is going to be the fastest Shavasana on earth. However, time is a construct. Reach the body long. Once you're to the earth, exhale. We're going to just take 1 minute, guys, to really settle in. I sit back up so I can talk to you about how I'd like to guide this. And when you hear 3 chimes, our practice will be over. We'll come to a seat. For now, close the eyes. Feel the temperature of the breath entering the nasal passages, lifting the belly all around the navel center, and exhaling, expressing all of that breath out. So very simply, following the breath, particularly each exhalation settling you even heavier to earth for just 15 more seconds. And we'll have 5 more breaths. Taking your time with those breaths. And at some point today, return to these 5 breaths. And when you hear the 3 chimes, we'll sit and close. Come on up and have a seat, my friends. Tall spine, heavy, soft arms, big breath. Hands to the heart space. Gratitude for this time with you today. Gratitude for the practice. And blessings to the whole earth today and to you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being with me today.